hype about living the dream? It's time for truth. This is the place for tools, power, and real talk so you can create the life you dream and deserve. Your ultimate life. Subscribe, share, create. You have infinite power.
Hi there, welcome to Your Ultimate Life. Today's an exciting, fun day, super exciting, because it's one of the master keys to creating purpose, prosperity, and joy. Purpose, prosperity, and joy. You know, I set up my life, schedule, business, all of that, so I meet lots of new people. I have several today, and probably between 5 and 10 every single week that are brand new, that I haven't talked to before. And I do that for several reasons. One, I love people. I would love to meet you, so you're invited. If you'd like to have a conversation with Kellan, then go to this URL on the screen, KellanFluckigerMedia.com, and there's a contact form there. So let's talk. I'm looking for special people, and you are included. And I'll tell you why I know that. Because if you're listening to a podcast about creating purpose, prosperity, and joy, then those words appeal to you. The idea of having a life driven by purpose, that is your way of adding good to the world, that sounds good, and you get all tingly when I say stuff like that, right? I want you to close your eyes unless you're driving, and I want you to listen to your heart for a sec and answer this question. What does the world look like if the deepest desire of your heart came to pass? Now, I'm assuming in making that question or asking that it isn't like I need $1 billion so the world doesn't look like anything. I'm just stinking rich. Okay, let's get past that. Let's assume you have everything you need to have a decent life, a good life. And you go into the part of your heart that says, I want to help people. I want to help. I want to add good to the world. I want to serve. I want to matter. I want to do something that matters. I know you feel that. I know you feel it. You may not feel it all the time. It may not be front and center, but I know for sure you feel that. I want to add good to the world. I want to help. I love helping people. You volunteer in the community, at church, at your kid's school, with friends. You do that. Maybe you're the person that people confide in and they love talking to you. Maybe you're that person, right? But I know you love to help. And so if you think about it, and you look at your life experience, and maybe you had a life experience with troubled teenagers. Maybe you had a bunch of experiences growing up where you had, you struggled. Maybe you were abused. Maybe you suffered some terrible illness and you got past that. And you haven't let it ruin you. Sometimes when that crap happens, it ruins us. And we spend a month, a year, a decade, maybe the rest of our lives bitter and angry because the world did us wrong or God dissed us, right? And so we wonder how does that play? How is that just? Well, I'm not going to talk about the justice of God. One of the main things is to remember this 100 years that you have here, or 50 or however long it is a micro dot. We know, you were somewhere before and you're going somewhere. So justice, several things. First of all, your view and my view of justice is warped. We have actually no idea what justice actually is. 2, justice takes however long it takes, right? If someone commits a crime, it might be a year before they're caught and then incarcerated. So justice is not this instantaneous admonition or application of whatever it is we think ought to happen. That's silly. Imagine the world like that. So don't. That's not happening. My question is, if you have had some difficulty, or many, you've had unfair injustice heaped on you and trials and struggles, yet you've gotten past it. And you're standing here today, standing tall, saying, I did it. I got past it. I'm here now. I matter. Oh, then I am all over that. And several things. One, I'd love to tell your story. So please get a hold of me. KellanFluckigerMedia.com, and go there and fill out the contact form and let's talk. I want to share your story of resilience, of overcoming, of becoming. That's fabulous. We need 1 million more of those stories this year because the world is so full of pain and struggle. Some hostages are going to be released from this sad war that's been taking place in the Middle East, a couple of little kids and they're dead. So they're going to send their bodies home. Tragedy. And we get to choose how to go forward from there. We can go forward filled with hate and anger, or we can go forward and create positive, good things, even though at this moment there is no way to create justice for that terrible act. It's a good thing that life itself is way before and way after, because in this little mortal frame, those little kids don't get to grow up. They're done. It's over. And that is as sad as it is. And I'm not pretending any of that away. And there will be absolute justice. And I'm grateful I'm not in charge of that, because I actually have no idea what that would look like. But there will be. There is. And there will be, because this life's longer than just these 100 years or 50, or in their case, 2 years. One was 2, or one was 0, or 1, I guess, and one was 4. But anyway, so get past all that. If you have a story about resilience and growth, I want to share it. I want to hear it. I want to hear your resilience. I want to learn about you. I want to know about you. If you're in the middle of one of those things, I want to encourage you right now. There is a sunrise. There is a way to get past it. Right now, no matter how dark, black, ugly, stupid, wrong, unjust it seems, there's a way forward. The sun is going to come up. And choosing to get through those things and grow is a choice. You can choose to hate. You can choose to love. You can choose to be ruined or refined. I speak that from the depth of my heart, having done both, having been ruined by things that were done to me and things that I did, and refined for both of those things also. So I know it's possible. And my work is to help others do the same, to make that conscious, intentional choice, to be ruined or refined, but to be refined, and then to turn around and lift and bless others, which is the whole point. Purpose. You need to think, you don't need to do anything, but figuring out what my purpose was a challenge and the most rewarding thing I've done. I know yours will be too. So, and it doesn't come in an Amazon box, and you don't suddenly land on something and go, oh, that's going to inspire me the rest of forever. Doesn't work like that. Purpose is a choice, and it almost always comes from struggles and pain that you've experienced in life. You then adopt a purpose that is exactly consistent with what you learned in your deepest struggles. Purpose, prosperity, and joy is the ultimate life. You might use different words, but the same sentiment is there. Today, I want to talk about the power of preparation. The power of preparation. So, again, to reiterate the invitation, if you have a story you'd like to share, I'd like to hear from you. KellanFluckigerMedia.com. Use the contact form and let's talk. I have this show, and I have LA Talk Radio, and I have other places. I have a new television show coming up. Let's talk about what you have to share and how you want to add good to the world. Today, the power of preparation is a very important, exciting, critical, I can't use enough big words, topic. It matters more than almost anything. Because when we go at stuff half-baked, we get half-baked results. No Olympic athlete warms up after the game. No concert violinist warms up after the concert. We warm up or get ready or prepare ahead of time. Got a big deal at work, big presentation. You get the slides done ahead of time. Maybe you practice it a time or two, right? If you want to have an effective, persuasive conversation, you think it through. You think about what you might say, what's really important, what's not important. You want to make a good impression on someone. You think about it ahead of time. What will make sense? How can I get through to them? How can I create rapport? All that stuff involves preparation. Today, I want to talk about the power of preparation, and I want to divide it up into what is preparation and how do you prepare for things, and why would you do that anyway, and then the steps of creating a powerful preparation process. Now, I want you to think in your life about things that you do at a high level, things that you do professionally, essentially, or at a high level. Maybe you get paid for them and maybe you don't, but something you're really good at. Okay, when you get ready to go do that, what is your preparation? Or what have you already done to be prepared? Now, there's an interesting thing about that. I get asked to speak a lot at different places. I get asked to run meetings. I get asked to speak. I get asked to run groups. And it's not a surprise. I've done tens of thousands or more hours of preparation, leadership, speaking, that kind of thing. So I am done preparing. If I want to talk about a particular topic, like today, it's preparation, I did some work ahead of time so that what we talk about will matter, so that our preparation, my preparation to talk about preparation, will be something valuable to you. All right, so let's dive right in. What is preparation? Well, preparation is an intentional set of behaviors or practices to get ready to do a good job for something, right? Whether it's to speak or to sell something or to, invite, ask someone out on a date or manage a difficult child, having a difficult conversation at work, any of those things, the process of thinking about it ahead of time, maybe making some notes, maybe creating some slides, whatever it is, that process of getting ready. It can be as simple as I get up in the morning and I take a shower and I put on good clothes. Why? Because I want to be prepared for work. Now, if you don't go to work anymore and you do all your work from home like I do, I still do a bunch of preparation. But it isn't so that I'll look good on Zoom. And if you're watching the video, ooh, I look good today. It isn't that. It's a different kind of preparation, but it's still for the same reason. So definition. Preparation is an intentional set of behaviors, habits, or practices to get ready for something, right? Why would you prepare? Well, you prepare when it's important to you. If you don't want to prepare, that often means you don't think it's important. It doesn't really matter. And you can say that it does, but if you're unwilling to take some time and effort to prepare effectively, then you're lying to yourself. Doesn't really mean something. Doesn't matter. I even think about that going to church. So you go to church and I go to church. I don't know why you go to church, or even if you do. Go to church to what? Worship. I prepare for that. I pray. I try to connect. I connect with the divine. I think about and talk about what's on my heart. I go with the intention of worshiping. And I worship my God and my Savior. Why would I do that? Well, my relationship has been such that I truly worship them. My Savior has rescued me from countless difficulties. And I've told those stories on other episodes, so I'm not going to do that today. But when I go to church, I get ready because I want the worship to be effective. I want it to be sincere, and I want it to be meaningful. So even something like going to church or playing pickleball, you get the right clothes on and maybe you stretch and maybe, we do some things. So that's what prep is, and that's why we do it. So there's another piece of truth, and that is this. How much we prepare for something is directly correlated to how important it is. If I don't really care about the outcome, then I don't prepare. It doesn't matter what happens. Then I ask myself another question. Why am I doing it at all? If I don't care about the outcome, why am I doing it at all? Now, you may think that's a harsh question, but it's not. Because let's talk about some examples. Let's say I'm going to go somewhere with my precious beloved angel, Joy, who's a holy being I get to live with. So I'm going somewhere with Joy. And I don't even know what we're going to go do. She wants to go shopping, and I said I'd go with her. I prepare for that. Not because I know where we're going to go or what we're going to get on a shopping run, but because I want the time that I spend with that precious being to be sacred and holy. I want her to feel loved, adored, and I want her to know how much I appreciate just being with her, to drive down the road and walk up and down aisles in a store. I want her to know that. That doesn't happen accidentally. So I get rid of everything else I'm doing. I end. If I finished a coaching call, or I'm taking notes, or I'm, drawing some slides out that she's later going to turn into some slides, and I'm just drawing some notes. I quit that. I end it. I close the book. I clean my mind. I empty it all so that I'm not distracted, so that I'm not out of focus. So I'm clear with her only. And that's the preparation I do because I want it to be meaningful. I want it to be precious. I don't want to spend any time that's just meh. So that might be a new thought for you, because someone could say, who cares what you do in your shopping? I do. I care not about the shopping, but about the time with the relationship. So I want you to consider every single thing that you do, everything, from watching television to doing the dishes, to preparing your body for the day, to your morning daily creation process, morning routine, but I call it a DCP, daily creation process. How do you prepare? And if that feels like an uncomfortable question, then good, great, because that means you're not preparing and you know it. And maybe you've been unaware of it, and that just means you're just going through the day, going with the flow and whatever happens. And you're absolutely free to do that, and I've lived life like that sometimes. But I haven't found it very fulfilling, and I haven't certainly found it to be pushing me toward that purpose, prosperity, and joy. If I decide that my purpose is just to do whatever and float around and whatever happens, happens, then I guess I've done a great job if I live like that. And I have lived like that. I don't find that fulfilling for very long at all. So I've changed what I want out of life, and I have a definite purpose. And that definite purpose creates prosperity and joy, which means plenty of deep and meaningful relationships, plenty of cash to do the things I want, and plenty of joy, not just my wife joy, but joy in my life. So I'm stoked all the time. I'm laughing and loving life, jumping up and down the stairs, and I love my life all the time, every day. And you might think I'm nuts, and maybe I am. But it's a lot more fun to live like that than I used to live, which was aimless and chasing empty goals and just after money and position. And so preparation. Number one, decide that you want to prepare. That means you have to make a decision. I want to be all in for everything that I do, whether it's shopping with a partner, whether it's shopping alone, whether it's taking a walk. I want to be all into this walk. I want to relax and enjoy the scenery and feel the steps on the concrete or the grass. I want to really be here. I don't want to be distracted and be thinking about other stuff so that the walk's suddenly over and I'm like, what happened? I don't want to do that. So you get to decide whether you're going to prepare every day or not. Or you can say today is a day of nothing. I'm just going to be today. That's okay. Then if you're going to prepare for that, you know what you got to do? Empty. Get empty. Because if you've got lots of leftovers from yesterday hanging on, worry about something that went wrong, worry about a conversation, worry about who you're going to see or what somebody said to you, or you're worried about the future, fretting about what tomorrow's going to bring, or some deal that's going to go down or not. If you're worried about the past or the future, guess what? You're not doing nothing. You're not just being today. You're being overwhelmed and attacked and flooded and buried by fussing about yesterday and tomorrow. So even relaxing requires, if you're going to do it well, requires good prep. Because if I go relax and I'm fussed about yesterday or tomorrow, metaphorically, and then the relaxing is not good. You know how about that? You go to sleep and you can't sleep very well because your mind's all churned up about this, that, and the other. How does that work? So preparation is it's an overlooked, powerful tool to create a life of purpose, prosperity, and joy. Now I'm going to talk about how I prepare. And I prepare the same way every single day, no matter what I'm doing that day. And I don't work every day, and I don't bust my ass all day long with no joy. I have joy all the time, every day, not to mention the joy of my beautiful angel wife, whose name is Joy. Here is how I prepare. I use the acronym SPEM, S-P-E-M. I have some spiritual preparation that I do every day, even if I'm going to play. I have some physical preparation that I do every day, even if I'm going to play or if I'm going to work, doesn't matter. I have some emotional preparation that I do every day, even if I'm going to play, doesn't matter what I'm going to do, and mental preparation, no matter what I'm going to do. And one of the most difficult things to communicate about this is when I describe this, what you often hear is, that's a lot of friggin' work. No, it's not. It's joyful. It empties all distractions and negativity, and it makes me open and playful and creative and fun. So it used to be work. But when you get to the place where you preparing your heart, your soul, your body, your mind for the day is joyful and you're craving it because of how good you feel, then you have understood preparation. So you might be preparing a meal and you're preparing your favorite food and you love the parts of it and you're doing what it is and you're just thinking about the taste. That kind of excitement can accompany every preparation. So my spiritual preparation, and I do that no matter what, even if I'm going to take the day and go play. And here's why. I always, 100% of the time, want to be connected to God. I want to be able to hear inspiration and intuition. I want to be in that space. Here's why. See this picture? I hope you're looking at the video. This person meditating and the moon is very bright and everything. I like it when my soul feels like that all the time. Even if we're on a picnic or even if we're just, doing something around the house. I want to feel like that because I have felt like that, like this picture, light and joy, and I have felt not like that. And it's way more fun to feel like that no matter what I'm doing. So I prepare spiritually. I connect to God. I meditate. I pray with deep and meaningful intent. And truthfully, I spend more time listening than speaking, like a lot more. Because I'm way more interested in what God has to say to me than what I have to say to God. I want you to think about that. I really am. I'm way more interested in what's coming back than what I'm sending up. God already knows the thoughts and intents of all of our hearts. And when we speak it, but I'm listening. So that's the spiritual preparation. Physical preparation has always been part of my life from the time I was in elementary school and earlier. We just had a habit in our family of getting up and doing some exercises. Today, that's even more important because I'm busted in a lot of ways. I have some arthritis in my left hip and my right back and sciatica and pain here, there, and everywhere, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not complaining, but the stretching and the some core exercises and stuff like that are really important to me because then it dictates how much pain I have during the day. Yuck, right? And I enjoy the pain. It reminds me I'm alive. And it reminds me to be grateful for the things that don't hurt. So that physical preparation's important. And I don't skip it because I don't like how it feels when I skip it. The E in my preparation is emotional. And to me, that means all the love and relationships and everything in terms of connection to others. So you know what I do for that? I send messages of love. The phone makes that so easy. I'll just thumb through messages or emails or a Facebook chat or WhatsApp or whatever and send messages of love and encouragement. Doesn't matter if someone sent me or not. It's not answering. It's just loving people. Right? And what I find, here's what I notice. I feel really good when I do that. And I feel empty when I don't. Later, I might get some answers and people might say, wow, that was nice. Thank you. I sure needed that. Or they might not. I don't care. I want to share and spread love because that is so building. It builds, it creates, it lifts, it blesses. You know that when someone really is loving on you, how does that feel? Well, I'm loving on you right now. You're awesome. You're beautiful. You're capable. I'd love to talk to you. I'm inviting you into conversation. So I spend a few minutes doing that. And the last one is mental, which means I stimulate my mind. I might read some articles. I might catch up on the news. I have a stack of about 30 books that sit over there that I'm always in the middle of. There's a couple of them right now. One of them is about reality transurfing, which is one I'm in the middle of, and one's called Speaking Being, which is Werner Erhard and company. So those SPEM, I do them all the time because I don't feel like I've got my pants on until I've got that done. I don't feel like I'm awake until I've sent messages of love. I don't feel like I can do anything the best I can until I'm prepared. And I don't want to make a podcast episode. I don't want to give a coaching call. I had 2 calls this morning before recording this. I don't want to do any of those things unless I'm all here, unless I'm full of love, unless I'm full of listening. You know what I mean? I want to be full of listening and full of love and full of openness and full of inspiration and intuition. Even if I'm just going to sit with my honey, or even if I'm going to rewire some stuff in the studio, it's how I feel that matters. And that I have control of, because you and me, we control our emotions, we control our feelings, as well as our actions. So what I notice in doing that and in helping clients create their own, I'm not saying my ritual has to be yours. I have questions about it. One, are you willing to create for yourself a preparation process that leaves you feeling on top of the world? You willing to do that? And here's what I know about creating those is it takes some experimenting. It's not about having a checklist and doing a bunch of rote crap, because that doesn't work. It gets boring and it gets tiring, and maybe you're in a hotel and maybe this, that, and the other. Forget that. It is an outcome-driven process. So here's the outcome. I am not done preparing my day for my day until I feel connected to God, on fire, creative, alive. My body's been stretched and I'm ready to go. Then I feel good. And I'm ready to meet whatever's on the day, whatever's on the calendar, whether it's going to the grocery store or giving coaching calls or working in the studio on some music or writing in a book or doing some yard work. It doesn't matter. I want to be all me, all there, all in. So I urge you to consider creating yourself a ritual and then using it every single day for 90 days. Don't do it for a couple of days. Say, I didn't do anything. I don't have time. You don't have any idea if it did anything. You got no idea. You got to do it for 90 days. But here is the thing. Don't just do 90 days of rote checkoff. Play with it and say, when I get done with this, here's how I feel. Did it work? Right? Is it working? That's the question for me. I'm a coach, right? So I talk to people a lot about getting the help they need to accomplish their goals. And I'll often ask them, well, do you have a coach of some kind? Oh, yeah, I got all that. And then that's actually not the question that matters. You know what matters? Is it working? Meaning, is the activity you're engaging in with your coach, whatever framework that looks like, is it helping you be better, have what you want, be who you want? Right? Is it working? Because that's what matters. So when you think about a morning routine, and I say morning is the only time, or right when you get up. If you get up at noon, okay, right then. Because you're at the start of your day, and it is the opportunity, the very best and biggest opportunity that you have or I have to shape the day, to cause the day to be as much like you want as possible. Now, I know crap happens and gets in the way every single day. Every single day, it does that. Yep. And that's okay. Because when I am my very best, I am on the top. I'm on fire, connected to God and inspired and excited and stretched and feel good. No matter what happens, even if it's crap, I'm way, way better able to deal with it. than if I'm not prepared. So my offer to you and my challenge to you is to several parts. One, I challenge you to create a ritual. I challenge you to play with it until it works. It leaves you feeling powerful, on fire. I challenge you to never skip, to get committed. You're not committing to me, you're committing to you. You're saying, wow, I want to live the best life I can, and that means being the best me every day. And you get to decide what the best you looks like. I'm not saying what I do is the thing you ought to do. I'm saying I've played with this for years, and it leaves me on fire, and I get more done than I even imagine in a day. I'm creative, I write books, I do this, I coach people, and it works because they keep coming back, right? So I challenge you to create yourself a ritual and play with it till it works. Then I invite you to share it with me. Tell me what happened. Tell me what it meant. Tell me your process of doing it. Tell me if it was hard or if it was easy, if it was obvious or if it was obtuse. You had to dig around and play with it for a while. You're worth it. You're an infinite divine being. You're worth all the loving care and kindness you can have. And it starts with loving yourself. Love yourself enough to be kind. Love yourself enough to lift and bless your heart and your life. Choose to honor and respect your body, your spirit, your heart, and your mind. Prepare yourself. You're worth it. Whether it's for work or your partner or your business or your kids, do the preparation work. Now, after I've said all that, you could be saying, ugh, that sounds hard. It is a little hard to establish habits. New habits are not trivial. But I can make you a promise on the other side. It's the most important thing I do every single day. It creates more money in my business, cash, cash, cash. It creates that. It creates love. It creates beauty. It creates clients. It creates fun. It helps me drive my purpose fully, freely. I would never skip my morning preparation. So I invite you to get committed and then answer this question. Who do you need to be to get that much in love with yourself? Who do you need to be created and fully prepared? Who do you need to be to love yourself enough to pour in that preparation? I know you're valuable. I know you're beautiful. Do you? Will you honor yourself, your heart, your love, your creator, those you live with, those that depend on you? Will you honor yourself enough to be fully prepared? So today was about the power of preparation. I can promise you, you'll get more money, you'll get more done, and you'll be happier. That's a guarantee. If you'll create a habit of preparation for everything you do, and you play with it until it makes you feel like that. Till it makes you feel connected and on fire. If you'd like help, reach out to me, KellanFluckigerMedia.com, contact form. Reach out to me. Reach out on social. I'm on all the socials. I'm an expert at this, a world-class freaking expert at this kind of preparation. And I live it. I'm a walking testimonial. It works every day, every time, without fail. Every day is beautiful. Every day is powerful. Every day is exciting, productive, in love, and connected to my purpose. You can have that. I'm not magic. I worked my way to that place. I love you. I believe in you. And you can have anything you want. Start today and don't stop so that you can do whatever you have to do to create your ultimate life.
Never hold back and you'll never ask why. Open your heart and this time around.
Right here, right now. Your opportunity for massive growth is right in front of you. Every episode gives you practical tips and practices that will change everything. If you want to know more, go to KellanFluckigerMedia.com. If you want more free tools, go here, YourUltimateLife.ca. subscribe,
Your feet on the
share.
ground. Stand with your heart in the sky and your feet on the ground.